Time to musk up. Wow.
All right, here we go. It's time for top 10 spring list. Finally, I hate the cold, so this is one of my favorite seasons, and it's the season of rebirth. And you'll see a theme here throughout all the fragrances, and that is green. Your kind of lively, aromatic, grassy greens rather than your vetiver, angelica root, rooty, spicy, coniferous greens, right? And so let's just get right into it. I have 11 here. I'm going to talk about one, and most of the time it's in everybody's list. And so I want to just, I guess, make this a, whatever the hell they call it. And that is Creed Green Irish Tweed, the older brother to Davidoff Cool Water. And personally for me, this works better. And just overall, very soapy, green, iris, almost like a body wash kind of fragrance, almost in a way. To be honest, I used to like this more, but not as much anymore. Let's get right into it. Let's start with this one, Serge Lutens. And although I think this is the only one that doesn't really have anything really green to it, and that is Fleur d'Orange by Serge Lutens. And this is honestly one of the best orange blossom fragrances that you can really get. A nice cumin note in here as well. Nice spicy, lively, sunny, like almost orange blossom note here. Really nice. Put a little bit more of a dent into that as time goes by. All right, let's, I think this personally, I think this next one here is an underrated Dior Privé, or technically it was made during when it changed to the Maison line, and that is Dior's Lucky, a Lily of the Valley fragrance, a very soapy one, watery one, almost kind of like body lotion kind of smell. Just an easy wear, fresh. Really like this one of my favorite Lily of the Valley fragrances. Gorgeous. Almost reminds me of like a man-made pond with lily pads. Next up we have is Van Cleef & Arpels Czar, and this is oak moss, some aromatics, some spice, some, I think there might be some nutmeg in here, lavender. And the way I kind of describe this is the kind of Bleu de Chanel of its time, and rather than the blue body wash kind of fragrance, this is your green body wash fragrance. And I can just imagine somebody during this time when this fragrance came out using the body wash or the soap, the aftershave, and the fragrance. Next one I think is a discontinued gem by Francis Kirkjohn, and that is Narciso Rodriguez For Him. This is the EDT, the fragrance that kind of reminds you of wet cement, kind of like this bottle here. Violet leaf and musk. The violet leaf here is pretty strong. One of the closest fragrances that comes to Fahrenheit, in my opinion, that I've tried, at least as far as designers are concerned. When you first spray this on, you really do get a big blast of this petrol violet leaf, green, and like I said, this kind of wet cement, and musk, some white musk, and I don't know, there might be some other musk in here as well, because it feels like it's got like a little growl, little animalic touches here as well. Next up, I don't think you'll be surprised by seeing this, and that is number 19, Chanel. This is the EDT vintage, and this is an EDP more modern. To be honest, for springtime, the EDP is probably better, and then in the summertime, more transparency with this. This becomes, I think you get more galbanum, more greenness here, and then the EDP starts to get more floral, a lot more auras I get in here. The next two, to be honest, I think are kind of similar. If I'm not mistaken, I think they came out back to back, and they're on the same brand, and that is Rose and Queer and Synthetic Jungle. Synthetic Jungle, I think, is one of the greatest kind of modern green galbanum fragrances on the market right now, hands down. And Rose and Queer, a fragrance that really doesn't have either. I don't really get much leather, although I do get some kind of spiciness here that kind of gives me this impression of leather. But the rose is made out of geranium here, which makes it very mentholated. And this fragrance here as well, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some mentholated kind of geranium going on here. Love these both. Green fragrances are one of my favorite, and I'm gonna put a dent in these two. All right, next up is one of my favorite classics, that vintages that I've tried over the year when I was diving into vintages, and that is Davidoff's Classic. Just an amazing kind of basil aromatic top with this gorgeous leathery castoreum leather in the base, and really like this stuff. I think maybe there's some bergamot at the top here, but this is really green. Really works for me personally. All right, next up. All right, you might not be surprised with this one. I've spoken about this, I think, a couple of times since I gotten it, and that is Gucci Nobile. And I love this stuff. And the way I kind of describe this now is, picture Drakkar Noir, the guy that buys a suit and it's kind of baggy on him. He doesn't get it tailored. He doesn't really care, right? But Gucci Nobile is the Italian guy that gets the slim fit suit and he gets it tailored perfectly to his body. That's how this one feels. This one just feels more refined. Overall, a little bit fresher in a way. Bergamot, oak moss, lavender, aromatic, spicy. Just a gorgeous fragrance. Unfortunately, really overpriced now. I got very lucky with this one. Yeah. Gucci Nobile. And last but not least, all right, now I'm gonna show here two bottles, and I personally like the original more, but I think the EDP is better for the spring, because the EDT needs some heat to really become alive. And that is, well, for this list purposes, for the spring, I'm picking La Pausa. Although I really do prefer 28 La Pausa. I've really not thought about this bottle ever since I got this one, because this is probably top 5 dead or alive kind of fragrances for me. If I got rid of everything, unfortunately, can't really buy this anymore, but whatever. Nonetheless, I think this one is a little bit thicker, richer. Pretty much, I get some green notes here, almost kind of grassy, and then you'll get the natural orris butter note here towards the dry down, very vegetal, buttery, a little lipsticky like, but carroty, rooty, leathery tones I get here, facets, and I do get like a little bit of rose here as well. Just smells like a Chanel, really. Man, so good. All right, that is my top 10 for the spring, and let me know what you're gonna be wearing this spring. All right, take care, guys. Bye.